I've been in the Philippines for about a week and a half now, and my life has changed completely. Mabuhay and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tez Milan. I am a Filipino-American creative. I just landed in Cebu, left Manila. Now I'm in Cebu. Hey, what's up? Just landed in Cebu. I can already feel that it's a lot different than Manila in the sense of like it's not as crazy. But we'll see once I get out of the airport and into the city just how not crazy it is or crazy it is. Here we go, Cebu. It is now Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? No, it's Thursday. It's not even Tuesday. It's Thursday. I just wanted to give a quick update about my time here so far because I just think it's kind of neat to share with you the sort of way that I'm changing, the way that I'm, changing my emotions about this place, the way I'm changing my perspective on being here, because it's really very different compared to where I was even just a week and a half ago. I'm just gonna start off by saying that I am super overwhelmed right now. When I first got here, I was a freaking hot mess. I mean, not only because I had traveled for like over 24 hours just trying to get here, but also just because I was so nervous about, first of all, the meaning of what, coming here and how much I wanted to deepen my experience of being in the Philippines, how much I don't want to be a tourist anymore. Whenever I come here, I actually want to feel like I belong to this place, to the motherland. And I was so stressed out that I gave myself a cold sore, which I never give myself cold sores. I rarely ever have them, but on that particular day, I was like, what is this? And it was all caused by stress and anxiety about coming out to the Philippines. I realized over time, as I've been here, that a lot of the stress and anxiety that I had been feeling was because I was trying to plan everything. Every time that I tried to plan what it was that I was going to do, for example, in Manila, or as I was planning the rest of this trip, I kept getting a lot of like resistance, but not like aggressive, like in your face resistance. That's not the Filipino way. I'd send messages and be like, hey, what's going on? I just want to plan this thing with you. Can we set a date or set a time, or connect me with this person so that I can start planning with them. Nothing back. So I just got dinner. I got some fried food and some rice, and then I got some San Miguel, and I'm ready to just go back to the flat and crash. And it wasn't even like maliciously, it wasn't like I was being ignored. It was just, I wouldn't hear anything back. And I was just like, what the heck is happening? Like, why am I not able to plan and figure out what it is that I want to do while I'm in the Philippines? And I realized as I got here and as I'm going through each day that there's only so much planning that you can do when it comes to the Philippines. It is really tough to get a hold of anybody if you're calling or emailing. Like, it's just, I don't know whether they're just not answering their phone or they're just not answering their emails or whatever it is. In the Philippines, it's really important to get in front of the person that you are wanting to plan something with, like to actually meet them. And then from there, I've noticed that all of these wonderful, beautiful things will evolve from actually meeting that person. So that's just the name of the game, that things are constantly changing, especially if you're wanting to plan something. So I just checked out. Now I'm heading into the city. I'm gonna get a grab car and check out the Cathedral of Santo Niño. I had somebody tell me that they would connect me with their family like 2 months ago, and it didn't happen. I was like, okay, am I going to be connected to these people or what's happening here? A week before I flew, she finally connected me with her family in the Philippines, and then they were all about it. They were like, oh, you're coming in? Okay, cool. Let's, try to meet. What's your availability? Oh, it's next week. Okay, cool. We can totally meet up on that Friday because I'll take time off of work. So that's just something to like consider when you're thinking about coming to the Philippines, is that, you can only plan so far in advance, but the real magic happens when you're actually with the people. They're not like way in advance planners. Like, it just doesn't happen. I don't know if it's because like they just know that things are going to change and that, there's no reason to plan for it, because more than likely, even if you plan for it, it's not going to happen the way that you expect. Like, that's the other thing too, that even if you get an itinerary or if you get a plan in place, just figure, especially if you're going to be in major cities like Manila, Cebu, just figure that whatever it is that you plan for is more than likely not going to happen the way that you expect. Because it's Friday, my Grab driver told me that there's going to be a lot of masses happening every hour here. So a lot of praying is going on right now, which is good. Round to Filipinos. So far, I've had people show up on time. which is great. And then I've had people like not show up for like an hour. And I was told that that's kind of like normal in the Philippines, like not showing up for an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours is kind of normal. So just know that if you have a set time that either the person may or may not show up, and if they do show up, they will probably not show up until way later than you had arranged with them to meet. This is pretty amazing because I think that this is the cross that Magellan brought to the Philippines when he first landed here. Big deal. It looks like it's in really good condition. I've learned that I just kind of have to go with the flow. People just don't get stressed out about plans changing. Whereas in the States, if plans change or if things don't go according to plan, people will lose their shit. So I saw that actually the cross is inside the cross. So that's Tindala wood, I guess is what it's called. And the actual cross that Magellan brought is inside of that. For example, on this trip to Buscalan to meet Wong Od, where there were certain things that were supposed to happen at a certain time, like meals were supposed to happen at a certain time. And they just didn't happen because like the food didn't show up because it needed to be transported across this valley on like a pulley system. I mean, like, you know, there's all kinds of things that are just not normal. That's not a judgment call. It's not like, oh, that's not normal, that's bad. It's just not commonplace. I guess that's a better word to use. It's not commonplace. And so like the food that we were supposed to have as soon as we got to the village wasn't prepared when we first got there because they still had to sand all of the vegetables across with the pulley system, and then the vegetables had to get their way from the landing spot of the pulley system to the place that we were staying at, and then they had to cook it. And so like we ended up not eating for like another 4 hours. And luckily I wasn't really hungry because I've just been eating so much rice, but like it took a while for things to happen. And there's one gal who was there and she was just like, why aren't we eating? What's happening? Why aren't things, you know, things keep changing. And I'm just like, yeah. Normally in the States, I would be all over it. I'd be like all about it. I'd be like, why isn't this happening exactly the time that I expect it to? That's just my normal modus operandus when I'm in the States. But I've just, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because it's the Filipina in me or because it's just the way that I travel or whatever. I just know that if I freak out about things, it's not gonna help. It's really hot today. Ah. And I'm like walking against traffic. It's kind of frightening. It's not going to move things faster. Like I just know it's not like they're going to go, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so sorry. Let me cook this meal faster for you. It's like if I freak out, it's going to be my freak out, and they may actually end up taking more time to like get it done because they see me upset and I'm like attacking them. So rather than getting upset, I just am like, okay, I guess that's just how it's going to be. I just noticed that he has some eggs. If I think about the way that I was like a week and a half ago when I first got here, I've just so quickly embodied the idea that like things just are gonna happen the way that they will happen. And the way that things evolve actually ends up being oftentimes better than what I could have ever planned. Like finally meeting up with this family that I was connected to, and they're like amazing. They're like totally wanting to take care of me. They're wanting to help me film. I mean, all of these things that I couldn't have expected or thought would be possible. Like I'm getting more out of just letting go and letting things happen than me trying to like hold on to things and make everything happen the way that I want them to, the way that it happens in the States. That's just not the way that things go here in the Philippines. Hi! What is this fork doing here? I'm like all over the place because it's so hot. I can't even like think straight. I'm just like, oh look at that, oh look at that, oh look at that. Total tourist time. And it's cool to like just see that change and that shift in me to be like, okay, it is what it is. And we're just gonna roll with it. And it's gonna be amazing. No matter what happens, it's gonna be amazing. And I really hope that when I go back to the States, that's something that I get to embody more of. I paid 30 Philippine pesos to come in here. And then I got a receipt for it too. Not like, oh, I can't plan anything, because of course I'm gonna plan everything, because that's just my natural state of and way of like moving forward in my life. It's like super cute. I like it. Okay, let's go upstairs. But I think incorporating a bit more of this, like, we'll see, like let's put a plan in place, let's put the framework. It is not fun trying to do this with this backpack on my back. It's just too hot. And if things change, I'm not gonna freak out. I'm just gonna let things happen and go with the flow and trust. Trust myself that no matter what happens, everything's going to be great because I'm going to make it great. Because I'm going to have an open perspective and I'm going to have an open heart and allow the goodness to just appear that I couldn't have controlled or manifested on my own. They are eating food. I'm going to allow people to kind of bring to the table what they will and trust that people will, or if they don't, then I'll just move on and find the people that will. You know, like those are the kinds of things that I'm learning by being here in the Philippines. And that's kind of a neat thing.
Welcome to my guys!
So good. Unreal. This place is unreal. So that's it. That's kind of like my update on what it's like to be here in the Philippines. I'm a week and a half in. I'm still pretty tired. Jet lag kicked my butt for the first few days, but like I just kept myself busy enough that like, you know, I just pushed through and didn't even really have time to think about, oh, I'm so tired right now. I'm doing well. Like week and a half in, I'm really loving being here. And I still feel like a tourist. I still feel like I'm learning a lot of things, like how the taxi system works, to just get a grab car and allow that to pick me up as opposed to like trying to just, you know, negotiate my way with a taxi driver, especially because I don't speak the language. Like they're going to know right away that I'm a foreigner and they're going to possibly take advantage of that. You know, just to understand systems better is something that I've also picked up on being here. You know, that there are certain systems in place that, you know, certain ways of communicating that I just have to be more aware of and learn as I go. And yeah, just kind of learn the ways of the Filipinos. And what's really cool too is that like as things are happening and I'm just like, oh, that's surprising, that's totally not what I expected, like I'm going, oh yeah, I kind of understand that. Like internally I understand it, you know. It's like there's a familiarity about it, even though it's not the way that I'm normally living my life in the States. Like there's so much that's happening here that wouldn't happen in the States that I'm like understanding inside, like in my soul, you know. So yeah, that's kind of, yeah, the state of being here. Today, I just landed in Cebu. Tomorrow, I'm going with Jacob Maentz. This gentleman by the name of Jacob Maentz, he is based in the Philippines. He's not Filipino. Created this book about the Philippines. And we are headed to Siquijor. Yes, it's spelled Siquijor. And it is pronounced Siquijor. I used to say like Siquijor, I think is the way that I was initially pronouncing it, but it's really pronounced Siquijor, which is kind of a cool, I like it. It's like a sticky whore, you know? So yeah, we're headed to Siquijor tomorrow. We're gonna be on a ferry for a few hours there and a few hours back. We're only spending one full day there. And yeah, that's kind of what's gonna be happening. We'll see how everything rolls on and how everything kind of plays out, because like I just shared with you, you can plan, but more than likely it's not gonna happen the way that you expect it to. And that's okay. It's just the Filipino way. So if you like this episode, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Follow. Goodbye. And I'm going to turn on the air conditioning now because it's really hot in this room because there's a lot of sunlight coming in right now. Air conditioning. It's really hot. April is a really hot month to be in the Philippines, FYI. Yeah, aircon.